Network, ESPN 94.9, The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. Let's see here. It's 91 degrees and it feels like it's 101. And we welcome all of you in on a Thursday where we're going to have some fun. Let's start out in Murfreesboro. Say hello to Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, how are you?
I'm good, George. How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Not much, man. Just listening to everybody on the news scare everybody to death because it's 97 degrees with a heat index of 105.
Yes.
I was out in it. Should I be concerned?
My phone says it's 91.
91. Okay, there you go.
Well, let me put it this way. Okay, it's not probably the most pleasant for a, stroll at noon, but do the best you can.
Keep yourself in shape, man. Stay hydrated. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Eat good, stay hydrated, keep yourself in shape, and hey, it is what it is.
Okay. Thank you for the health update.
Absolutely, man. Have you gotten your walk in today?
No, I have not yet. I was planning that later in the early evening after the sun goes down. No
All right.
earlier than dusk.
Okay.
So let's check in Atlanta, where Billy Derrick is standing by at SEC Football Media Days. My guess is that the place, well, it's basically dead.
It's a ghost town.
Is vamoosing. Yeah. I remember 3 years ago, it looked like a bomb had gone off. Billy wearing his free, cheap plaster shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I saw Tony Neely today. I said, George said hello. Yeah, I said, George said hello. And he said, oh, he's like, I see you're wearing the shirt. That must have been the last shirt you packed. Did you not have any other options?
So have I told you all the CM Newton story that Tony told me about the blind draw in the tournament? Okay.
You have.
Okay, good. We don't need to go there. How was Tony?
He was good. He was walking Mark Stoops around, and he's there. They're so open about Mark talked to everybody. I know we've had him on before, but yeah, he was good. But yeah, Hugh earlier today told me this is a ghost town today. But yeah, it's day 4 is a little bit different than definitely the first couple days.
It is definitely a disadvantage to the teams that are in day 4 because they all, people, they're 1 foot out the door, and by about 2:00, they're 2 feet out the door. They're not sticking around to see your 4th place Atlanta Braves.
No,
by 2:15, they're all feet out the door.
Yes. So, where was I going? I don't remember. I know where I'm going. Tomorrow on the show, Billy, Gary Stokan.
Oh, really?
Yes. I want to thank Brentwood Academy grad Dylan Faulkner, who works with Gary Stokan, for helping to arrange this.
Yeah, I saw Dylan a couple days ago. He's a good guy.
Yeah. So, do we have an update of any substance, or you just what are we doing?
Today's update is brought to you by X Golf, but it's also brought to you by Eli Drinkwitz. We're going to play a couple of minutes from the best of Eli Drinkwitz's presser at the podium today. It's pretty good stuff. So stay tuned for that. But I do want to tell you about X Golf. Step into the future of golf with X Golf. Experience the world's most accurate golf simulator and elevate your game like never before. Book your tee time now at Play X Golf and go check out their new location at 209 South Royal Oaks out in Franklin.
Well, that was beautiful.
Yes, thank you. This is also beautiful. Eli Drinkwitz, among proposing a 30-team playoff, mentioning the Epstein files and all kinds of different things. He's the new Steve Spurrier of SEC Media Days. Here is a couple of minutes of the best of Eli Drinkwitz from earlier today.
Event. Welcome to the podium, the head coach of the University of Missouri, Eli Drinkwitz.
Well, we got the right fight song. It's improvement. So with that, I know there's a lot of burning questions in this room by the 14 of y'all that showed up. But just as a reminder, I'm not going to answer any questions about the Epstein files, whether about the radiation belt, and whether or not it was possible for Lee Harvey Oswald to get 3 shots off in 7 seconds. I don't have time to answer all those questions. But I will answer questions about Mizzou football. And I would be remiss if I didn't say Bob Holt was a graduate of the Missouri School of Journalism, and we miss him today, and we think about him often. And so with that, I'll open it up for, yeah.
Do you have any conspiracy theories about Missouri football that you've debunked or are debunking?
What's that sign? There's no conspiracy theories, but there's also no such thing as coincidences. So there you go.
Talk about adding Jalen Catalon. What does he bring to Corey Batoon's defense, and what kind of impact could he make for you as an experienced player?
Yeah, you know, Jalen Catalon's a guy that played against us in 2020 during COVID year. He didn't play in the first half because of a targeting penalty, and man, he came on and was an elite player, and has been an elite player for a long time. You know, Coach Saban, all summer he calls and does scouting reports with all the head coaches, not to get back into coaching. Just want to clear that up for Greg McElroy. But
to have that time to build the chemistry at home before you have to go play at Auburn, in Norman, and on the road to Fayetteville.
Yeah, we play at Nashville too, and with Diego Pavia, that ain't no joke. So let's make sure we give those guys the respect that Clark deserves for sure, and the program he's built. But yeah, you know, appreciate Mark Womack helping us with that first 6 games at home there. Obviously, it gives a new quarterback an opportunity to settle 8 versus 9. Honestly, I think I've been for the 9 game. I think if it was about players and about fans, I think it's a 9-game schedule for the SEC. If it's about coach preservation, which, hey man, I get it, you know. But if we're going to go to 11 humans deciding on a committee which are the 11 best teams, and we stay at 8, we ain't getting in.
Wow.
There it is. That was pretty good stuff from Eli Drinkwitz.
Eli.
You know what? I kind of like Eli. He's got a sense of humor.
I do too.
It wasn't in those sound bites there, but he was also quoted to say, now you're talking about an opportunity for 30 teams and 30 fan bases to be excited and engaged when talking about a potential 30-team playoff. You've got 30 teams with players who have access to compete for a championship. Mizzou players were actually asked about this and shared that they don't want to be playing in March. So
Okay.
he did. Yeah, he did debunk this on Twitter. He said that's not what I said, but he did mention the concept of 30 teams getting into the playoff.
Okay, let me fire this at y'all, because to me, one of the positives about the playoff a year ago was that around November 1st, there probably were 30 teams that felt like they had a path to get there. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Where in the past, in that 14 BCS, the number that truly November 1st, November 10th, probably 8 to 10 max.
Yeah. His argument is 44% of the teams in the NFL make the playoffs. And we're talking about 10% of college football teams that are going to make the playoffs. He said, and we think that's going to keep fan bases encouraged. So it's not a bad argument, but it's, I mean, let's face it, we're not, I mean, the highest we go to is probably 16, right?
Yeah, but here's the difference. Okay, in college football, sometimes it doesn't matter about the record. A 5-5 Auburn at home can get fired up like all get out to kick the crap out of Alabama if given that opportunity. That's something the pros don't really have, is that ability to just, who cares about the record? It's Alabama and we want to kick their butt. Thank you.
That's a good point, Judd. That's a pretty good thought there, George, because I think you're right on that one. I don't. There's rivalries in the NFL, but it doesn't go to the depths of some of these college rivalries,
especially in the area where we live.
Right.
So Eli Drinkwitz was the main talking point today. You also had Mark Stoops at Kentucky, Sam Pittman at Arkansas, and Mike Elko at A&M. So I'm sure we'll get to more of that and some of their comments a little bit later. Do have a piece of college basketball news that came across the ticker yesterday. According to Matt Norlander of CBS Sports, the NCAA has put Memphis on 2-year probation and 1% budget fine after 2 softball players were paid $550 to complete coursework for a former Memphis basketball player. The academic counselor who paid the softball players received a 10-year show cause penalty.
So, let me see how I say this right. I will always be appreciative excuse me.
Oh, George is having a malfunction.
Yeah, I will always be appreciative to the university. Well, it was Memphis State at the time, and in particular to an athletic director, Charlie Cavanero, who treated me great and gave me my first, voice of play-by-play gig. But the University of Memphis has got a cheating problem that is totally out of control. How many times have they been put on probation? How many times, about the time you think they figure out that, we got a problem here, I mean, when's it going to stop down there?
I don't know. Didn't Penny have some accusations this past year too? So, yeah, it seems like something's. But the same thing can be said about UT. I mean, there's a lot going on at UT too. I mean, you think about it, they've had scandals. It seems like that's just happening over and over and over again, and it's getting more frequent each year.
Now, what I don't understand is because I was reading part of the deal. Because, look, I keep up with what's going on down there. I wouldn't say I'm an expert by any stretch, but some of the money stuff, I'm like, who's kidding who? I mean, what's the point of that anymore? This is a professional sport now. College football is no longer an amateur sport. Now, let's get real. It's pay for play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or play for pay.
Or that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's one or the other.
We've got the Open that is underway. It was underway early this morning. Scotty Scheffler carded a 3-under 68 and off and on rain at Royal Portrush in Britain. Jacob Scov Olsen. You've got Matt Fitzpatrick up at the top of the leaderboard. Harris English as well. Tyrell Hatton at 3-under. So Scheffler tied for second at 3-under right now in the Open. So
really, it's in Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland, okay.
Yeah, it's not Britain.
I thought it did it not used to be called the British Open though?
It did, but they've changed it to the Open Championship.
Whatever. Either way, on the first hole, this is what's going to happen. Jordan Spieth.
Jordan Spieth, I think he finished 3 over.
Yeah,
and your boy Bryson DeChambeau was 7 over.
Spieth has lost a little bit of his steam, but he hasn't been playing particularly well.
Mental, man, mental.
Well, he also has to putt like crazy if he's going to be any good. Jordan Spieth.
In the NFL, Chargers wide receiver Mike Williams announced his retirement from the league earlier today. This came as a shock to the organization. The former Clemson star had been working off to the side during their OTAs as he had been working through an undisclosed injury. Came as a shock to me, too. I couldn't believe seeing that. So Mike Williams has announced his retirement. Also, another receiver, this is some bad news for the Chiefs. Rashee Rice was sentenced to 30 days of jail time and 5 years probation for his role in a multi-car crash last year. According to the Dallas County District Attorney's Office, Rice pleaded guilty in court to 2 third-degree felony charges, collision involving serious bodily injury, and racing on a highway causing bodily injury. You've also got another veteran coming back. Von Miller has signed a one-year deal with the Washington Commanders. Still has to pass his physical, but good to see Von Miller getting back out there. See how much he's able to play, or if he can stay healthy.
Tell you what, there are a lot of people think the Commanders, Kelly, are right there. Who knows? But a lot more optimism than when little small stuff owned that team.
It's good to see Billy, because he's almost as old as George is. He's catching me, Von Miller. I don't know how many more years he's got in that tank, dog.
Fair point. Stormy. Done? Yes, we're done. I was going to say Stormy said Spieth is +2.
Oh, he made a birdie. Yeah, he made a birdie on the last one then. Okay.
We also had a comment below that's dead on right.
Yeah, Sean says exactly why Memphis will never make a bigger conference.
And it's really a shame, because they have gotten kind of a rogue, renegade reputation. And there are some good people down there. I don't know what the answer is, because there's been a lot of stuff go on down there for a long time. We done?
Yep.
Okay, after the break, Danny Evans will join us. I think we'll be taking phone calls with him right around 4 o'clock. We got a lot to get to with him in the aftermath of a crazy ending to the All-Star game. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Attention Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign. It went right down to the wire, and this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets go on sale Friday, July the 18th. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois, it's big time. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
And they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
Can't watch the race? We got you.
I can't believe it.
NASCAR lives on the Game Nashville Sports Network. Whether it's 102.5 The Game, 94.9 The Fan, or Sports Talk 830, you can hear it all. Just check theGameNashville.com for the full schedule. NASCAR lives here. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we are back on this Thursday afternoon. I failed to mention this earlier, but Kelly Holcomb's former teammate, University of Florida wide receiver great Chris Doering will join us 4:25, 4:30, and you might want to be listening for that. It's an interview that Billy did earlier today. Now, let's bring on our man, Danny Evans. What happened to Wrigley Field?
Yeah, we're being more corporate today, George. You know, you go with the Masters logo on your golf shirt. I go to my Sabre group. I'm just equal opportunity employer here.
Very impressive. So I can't wait to hear where you take this, because people are all over the map about the ending of the All-Star game Tuesday night. Personally, I thought it was pretty exciting, but there's some real purists who are like, are you kidding? This is just nothing but a gimmick. Where do you stand on this?
George, it's an exhibition game. It gets the highest rating of all the sports for the All-Star game, and it's not close. People turn on the midsummer game to watch their favorite players. I love, George, that they were back in their unis this year. I thought that was great.
Yep.
I enjoyed the mic'd up segments because it was fun. I mean, Kershaw was hilarious.
Yes.
I think it was really fun. Pete Armstrong. It was great to hear his perception. I loved when Roberts and Boone spoke before the home run or the, what do they call it, the swing off. I thought it was pretty cool. George, I mean, for me, that game can't go extra innings. I was at the one in Milwaukee that, you know, the torrential rains outside and no more pitching. We can't do that. And we're the only sport that would run out of specialists, primarily because everybody's getting one inning or a third of an inning or 2/3 an inning. There's nothing worse than making an all-star, I would say, selection and not getting in the game. That's not right to the player. That's not right to the player's fans. So I thought both managers showed a lot of dexterity, but I kind of enjoyed it. And what I really liked about it was the enthusiasm you saw from the participants, from the players. They were having fun. They were out of the dugout. They were fully engaged. And, frankly, I enjoyed it. I watched every pitch of the game. I had a great time watching it. And I look at it this way, George. We are purely entertainment when it comes to the All-Star game. And I found that very entertaining.
Okay, I did too, but let me ask this question,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because I've been kind of a smart aleck about it.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, first of all, I thought it was really weird. I don't think Joe Davis, who I think is a terrific announcer, I don't think he knew or was told until the ninth inning, here's how this is going down. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
the players knew it. Yeah, it had been collectively bargained, but it was the best kept secret known to man. That surprised me.
Yeah, I didn't see anything prior to the game on social or anyone writing it on the internet about the changes. I had heard about it, just given the collective bargaining status. I actually thought it was really creative. My favorite part about it was Dave Roberts knowing the family of one of the participants. Kid grew up in his Poway neighborhood and said he's going to be one of the participants. I know the parents. And I thought it was like, okay, that's fun. But Joe and Smoltz, I thought did a good job. The graphics came up. They kind of winged it, but the winging it part made for, I think, a pretty fun thing. There's no way to end a tie game. And the other thing, and let's think this through, let's be really honest. Whereas in the past, there was a period where the winner of that game hosted the seventh game of the World Series. That's no longer the case. So as a result, there's nothing at stake. Rather than just stop the game dead cold, to stop it that way, heck, I thought that worked really well.
Real quickly before we get back to baseball, some breaking news, ESPN reporting that the Steelers have done what you knew they had to do, which is sign TJ Watt. 3 years, $123 million, $108 million of which is fully guaranteed. Okay, back to the baseball stuff. It was weird that at the end you've got this deal that none of us know is coming. And I'll admit, I thoroughly enjoyed it, probably more so because I picked the National League to win in a book it, and I knew it would piss Kelly off that I was going to end up being right. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. But I'm assuming that Ohtani and Aaron Judge were on private planes to wherever and had long since left the stadium. If not, why aren't they in it?
I think because they were out of the game, George. I think that had something to do with it. I think, if I'm correct, I think the participants were participants who were still in the ball game. And I don't have the box score in front of me. I wasn't looking at it that closely. But George, here for the fans, I want them all to understand. You start your time in spring training around the first week of February. You get no days off.
I know where
You
this is
go
going.
all the way. You go all the way to the All-Star game. You have everything going on Sunday. You play your game. You fly to the site. You fly to Georgia. Then the next morning, starting at 7:00 in the morning, you are booked till 1:00 in the morning. The next day, you play the game. They only have a day and a half of off time. And I coveted that time my entire career. It was so hard. So I don't blame them for leaving. I think there is a tweak there if they want. But candidly, George, I don't fault the players for getting out. If you're good enough to be one of the starters, I think you're good enough to leave early. And I think, I would leave early just because for me, yeah, it's a great opportunity. But you've been with these guys for 2 days straight. The game, yes, important, but your time away and your time to recoup, especially guys who are flying to the West Coast, flying long distances, they didn't get in until 6:00 in the morning in some cases. That's not a glorious day off. And all of us have those days to go to the store, to go do whatever, to go pay your bills, to say hello to your family, hang with your kids. They haven't had it. And candidly, if you're a postseason team, you don't know when the next time you're going to have that break. It could be the beginning of November. So I don't fault them. I think the ones that stayed, I mean, Scooble started the game. He was out there in street clothes rooting everybody on. I thought that was pretty cool.
No, look, I'm with you on the answer you just gave. You know, no, I don't have your experience, but I did do minor league baseball uh, as a sounds broadcaster many years ago, and so I get the fact that those few days off, even on the minor league level, are like gold.
George, typically players who are in the All-Star game play very poorly the first few days after the All-Star game. And the reason is, I mean, Kelly, think about it. They're completely exhausted. They have had no break whatsoever. If you're a road team on Friday, you're getting back on a plane tonight or tomorrow morning, and you're heading back to play every day now for the rest of the season. And I have found doing homework on it, that becomes their all-star break. You have to find a day off for them, get them off their feet, because candidly, you go to the ballpark at 7:30 in the morning, and you come home at 1:30 in the morning on your off time. That's not off time. That's exhausting, and you have to be on and do some really special things. So George, that's a big deal. The other thing I wanted to hit, I love the ABS system that was used during the game Tuesday night. And the whole world got to see the automated balls and strikes, and it was seamless. It fit perfectly. And now we all know that all we have to do, if we have an argument or a discussion with a loved one, we just go like this and we look for the ruling from someone on the outside. It didn't work for me Tuesday, but I tried it. I just thought, okay, does this get me out of taking the garbage? No, it doesn't. I'm sorry.
Okay, so let's go there, Danny, because baseball has known for a while that this thing has worked just absolutely seamlessly on the minor league level. Any of us that live in a minor league baseball city and attend a game know it's like that. And
Yep.
other sports are probably sitting there going, damn, wish we could
Right.
solve our issues that quickly. Is anybody honestly against this?
No, they aren't. And the umpires are supportive of it. It proves that the umpires are right about 96 or 97% of the time, which is extraordinary. I mean, I would have loved that when I was in school. I mean, if you told me I'm going to get 96% right, let's go. I don't think anybody's, not favorable to it. George, I mean, let's get it right, right? And if we get it right with replay and we get it right with balls and strikes, it doesn't do anything to pulverize the integrity of the umpires. It really affirms it. And I think if done correctly, like it was Tuesday, it's seamless. There are no intrusion into the game. I think it works. And I think, like you said, anybody who has been to a minor league game, a quick story, friend of mine this morning at breakfast, a huge baseball fan, and he said, oh my God, he said, I went to a Iowa Cubs game a couple weeks ago. He said there were like 3 or 4 challenges during the game. It took less than 10 seconds each time. He said, I thought it was awesome. And you get to see it up on the scoreboard. He said, it's fully transparent. The transparency, George and Kelly, is what it makes it so good, because there's no debate. You see it and you realize, yeah, okay, we've got to change that call. I think Scooble is somebody that is going to be a trivia question down the line. And I thought it was funny. I love the one kid on the National League who patted his head and he was wrong. And it was like, okay, nice try, but the strike zone hasn't changed tonight. And I think it was we saw on a grand stage for the first time how good that system is.
And I think that was important because to me it erases any of the doubts.
Yeah. And you probably loved Matt Olson's play down the line. At the same time, George, you love the defensive play by Olson. I thought there was some really cool plays during the game. Just amazing talents on the field. And I think sometimes people forget how incredibly talented it is to play in the All-Star game. You're facing guys who have one inning, they're just letting it fly. It's 93 to 102. I mean, the rookie kid from the Brewers, who everybody was moaning about, and we talked about last week, comes out, first ball out of his hand, 102 miles an hour. Enough said. I think he fits just fine in that ball game.
It's not going to be his last visit.
No, no, sir. And he will probably not have to pay again for his next visit at All-Star game.
Bingo. Okay, let's do this. We'll go to the break, and then Kelly, you and Billy kind of take it up to the top. We will take your phone calls for Danny starting right at 4 o'clock. So let's go to the break. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Attention Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign. It went right down to the wire, and this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets go on sale Friday, July the 18th. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois, it's big time.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2025 season. Create a summer of memories at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, and more. Tickets are on sale now.
I trained my entire life to be the best. I was one of the fastest women in the entire country. But woke politics made me swim against a man, sharing the pool and the locker room. That's not just dangerous, it's degrading. Thank God for Marsha Blackburn. No one fights harder to protect us. Marsha Blackburn will always stand for strong women, because she's one of us.
I'm Marsha Blackburn, and I approve this message.
Total screw-ups of humongous proportions.
Sports. We're not living in an era where perfection is necessary.
They thought they were a championship contending team.
Here, we told you not to do this. Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Danny Evans is with us for his weekly Thursday visit. We'll open up for your phone calls right at 4 o'clock, give or take a minute or two. And then 4:25, somewhere in there, you'll hear Billy Derrick's interview with Kelly Holcomb's former teammate and Florida wide receiver great Chris Doering. Kelly, the floor is yours. Where are you taking it?
I don't know. I want to ask about this automated system, Danny. how many challenges do you get per game? And then is this a deal? I guess the manager's out of it. It's the catcher, it's the pitcher, and it's the batter. Like, is there a deal where the manager sits guys down and says, hey, like if you lose some opportunities or something like that, like do you have to sit down and talk about this and talk about situational baseball with your guys?
Yeah. Oh, Kelly, it's a great question. Every pitcher thinks every pitch is a strike, and every
Yes.
hitter thinks every pitch is a ball that they take. So the catcher becomes really the disseminator of, I would say, common sense. They're catching so many pitches, they've got a guy over their shoulder that they need on their side, and they know what's a ball and what's a strike. When they first instituted it, pitchers were barking all the time. They were just, you thought it was part of their natural arm action. And they started to realize, hey, we can't have that. We just can't do it. So most teams have set it up with their players in the minor leagues. Hey, if it's either the catcher or it's got to come from the dugout. Don't waste opportunities. Kelly, I think it's 5 a game. I wish I knew the rule, but because I kind of don't have to know the minor league rules real well, but I believe the rules were the same Tuesday that they were in the minor leagues. So I think it's 5.
Hey, Danny, hold on a second. I think it's 2 per team on the
Is it 2? I thought
on
it
the
was
minor league level.
Okay, so I'm wrong, and I admit I'm wrong. I just didn't. Go ahead.
Let me say this. If somebody knows it for certain, I don't have it in front of me. I'm almost
Yeah.
certain it's 2 per team.
Yeah. I just don't know because I haven't had to worry about that. I'm not on field in the minor leagues. But Kelly, to completely answer your question, it's the catcher and it's the hitter. And that's really what it comes down to. If you're sitting in the dugout, you guys have been in dugouts, you don't know if it's a ball or a strike. Give me a break. You're
Right,
either at
right.
below ground level, you got a terrible angle, maybe you're mad at the world and you're barking that was a strike. And I think of Euchre all the time in the top row of Dodger Stadium saying that was a strike. What are you talking about? So I think, Kelly, what it comes down to is who are the discerning people in the argument. And I think it really rewards not patience, but I kind of think it's gamesmanship. There's certain points of the game where you're going to need that call. And if it's not one of those moments, you don't want to have them all in the trash, because then when it matters in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th innings, you don't have that call. And that's why the replay challenges have been a learning curve. There's been an evolution in the game. And, those of us who watch the game all the time, you can see managers put it in their back pocket sometimes where they go, now I can't use it right now, because if they don't overturn it, I'm going to need that later in the ballgame.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. If you win the challenge, do you keep your challenges, or what's the penalty for that? You keep the challenges?
You keep your challenge. If you're wrong, you lose the challenge.
You lose it.
And I know there's people talking about there's got to be a way of further penalizing a club when it's wrong. And I tend to agree with that. I haven't heard the right answer yet. But I was even saying to Kathy the other night when the one call went against the National League, I said, I get it. He challenged it, but there should be something against his team, not him, but his team moving forward. Instead of just losing a challenge, there ought to be something punitive. And I don't know what it is. I'm really open. We talked about this at the Sabre convention a few weeks ago, but there's got to be something that prevents you from just, yapping about that to yap.
Okay, so my next question is coming off the heels of the All-Star game. The All-Star game, and I know you love the All-Star game, and it is, I think it's the greatest All-Star game in professional sports. I really do, because like the other night, I didn't know about that. I couldn't watch the whole thing, but then you get up on SportsCenter and you watch it. I didn't know that that's what happened. But I got to ask you from a manager's perspective. If you're the manager, say you're Dave Roberts, which I use him, say you're Dave Roberts, and you got all these high-profiled, ultra mega millionaires And how do you manage that? Like, I know it's supposed to be fun, Danny. I get that. But if you get one of those guys hurt, like that is like that there's some anxiousness and there's some pressure in that game on the manager that's calling that game. And is there any time that a manager, like say Dave Roberts, calls all the managers of the players and say, how much do you want this guy to pitch, or how much do you want this guy to play, or is he good? Does that stuff happen, and where's the pressure in all that? Because it seems with all the money that's in professional sports now, it's getting even more heated.
Kelly, fantastic question. It's exactly what happens. We're in the middle of our season. This is the only break we get all year, and guys are fatigued. So what the manager of both clubs do is they connect with the manager and or pitching coach of each of the clubs within their league. And it's, tell me about Holcomb. Does he have a pitch count? Can he give us an inning? If so, how many pitches can we go? Tell me about so-and-so. I know he missed a couple of games. There's some rules in Major League Baseball now that if you can't perform the Sunday before the All-Star game, you're scratched from the game. And as a result, guys have to be transparent about injuries. And the reason, Kelly, is this. For the fans of that team, yes, it's a glorious exhibition, a beautiful idea, started in 1933 in Chicago. But the idea is not to put a burden on the clubs in the second half of the year. It's to showcase our sport. So what you do, and it's a great question. I bet most people didn't know that. There is lots of conversation, and there's conversation leading up. For instance, we're thinking of adding a guy to the game to replace so-and-so. Is your guy available if he has to pitch an inning on Tuesday? Kelly, nobody goes more than one anymore. There was a time where guys would go as many as 5. It's one inning. Like, look at Kershaw the other night. He was on a short count, and I thought it was fabulous. I mean, it was great, and he narrated the whole thing. But I think, Cal, what's going on now is the clubs are doing such a good job communicating with the manager that the manager knows exactly what he's got. For instance, maybe he has a position player who's nursing a hamstring. So he might just use him as a pinch hitter. He may just use him for a 1-inning thing and get him out, let him get some treatment, and let him go home. And that's what the fans don't realize is the managers feel an obligation to not only try to win the ball game, but also return the goods in the order that they received them. The challenge of the whole thing is figuring out when you're going to substitute and how it's going to look and when. And they communicate that so well. Look at Kershaw. He came out to the mound the other day and gets the first out on the line drive to Tucker. And the next pitch, he's saying to the broadcasters, this is it, guys. This is my last hitter. And, nobody knew that to that point, but he's telling them because I'm sure Roberts told him. Look what Roberts did with Freeman. It was a little theatrical, but he deserved it. Freddie is a legend. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer who played for Georgia's team. The Braves fans still love him. He got the curtain call, in the middle of an inning, which I thought was just wonderful. And Kelly, that's what the managers have to do. And it's hard, but so far it's been pretty darn good.
That's cool. I just thought about that. So here's another crazy question. That's my last question, but you were talking about travel, and I know that travel is different in baseball than it is like when I was playing football. We traveled on Saturday, then Sunday we'd play the game, or Monday or whenever we play the game. 45 minutes after that, the buses are gone. We've got everything.
That's
We're
right.
heading to the airport. How does that work in baseball? Like, I know that it's like y'all have 2-week stints, I guess, when you're out on the road, but when you finish a series, do y'all spend the night there, or do y'all immediately get on the plane and y'all go where you're supposed to go for the next play?
We're playing 81 games a year on the road compared with other sports that play 41. I mean, think about that from the onset. Spring training is 50 days. So you're on the road about 150 days a year. So Kelly, to answer your question, if you're a road club, you always get out after the final game. Teams try to help each other out, by doing getaway day games, but sometimes it's not feasible for a variety of reasons. So 45 minutes after the game's over, you are on a bus and you're headed to the plane. And the
Okay.
most incredible thing that happens is the equipment guys pack up the entire club without a problem, starting with the first pitch of the game. They are packed. You get the game's over. There's only a few things in your locker. You know it. You know it at 2 p.m. Get your stuff out. Kelly, you show up, and here's the part people don't understand. You travel to the next city, you get in at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're at the ballpark at 2 the next afternoon. And the fans don't realize when they turn the game on at 7 o'clock why Dan Evans and Kelly Holcomb look beat. Well, my first road trip, we came back from the West Coast after an extra inning game. We showed up at 5:30 in the morning Chicago time, got hit in Chicago traffic, rush hour traffic, and we had a day game. I never went to sleep. So at 4 o'clock, one of the staff, a bit of a smartass, says to me, "You look crap. You look terrible." And I said, "Dude, I've been up since yesterday at 7 in the morning." And he goes, "Why? Why didn't you get some sleep last night?" And I said, "When you turned your TV off last night," I said, "my night hadn't even begun." And he said to me, "Oh, I never thought about that." Well, fans don't know that. And I'm not wah here. I'm basically saying that's why it's called professional sports. And
Yep.
Kelly, football, basketball, hockey, you almost never play the next day. We not only play the next day, but we play the next day for 162 games. It's unbelievable the grind in baseball. And that's why I think it's the hardest sport to play.
Danny, always a pleasure. I want to get to some potential teams that you think could make a run that not a lot of people are talking about in the National League. The wild card race is going to be interesting with the Giants, the Cardinals, the Reds. Which team do any of those teams get in? Do you think any of those teams are some teams that could get hot? If not, who do you think is a sleeper team?
Billy, good question. I think the bar's a little higher in the National League this year. I think it's going to be 86 or 87 games to be the third wild card team. I think the Milwaukee Cub race is going to be unbelievable in the second half of the season. I think the Mets and the Phillies will be a heck of a race. I think the Pods, the Giants, the Dodgers will be a race, but I think the Dodgers will prevail in that. I think the Cardinals, Cincinnati, they're all going to be in play. I think we're going to see a lot of teams in the next 2 weeks trying to decide whether they're in or out. And Billy, they have to decide by the 31st of July. That's 2 weeks from now. It's almost impossible to know what's going to happen the next 2 months after that. Then you look in the American League. I mean, the AL East suddenly is up for grabs. Who'd have thought that a month ago? The American League Central, I think Detroit's clearly a class, but Kansas City, I think Minnesota, I think they're going to be in play. And then Houston and Seattle, it's going to be a hell of a race in the second half of the year. And out of this mix are some good teams who will not make the playoffs. I think the American League's about 85 wins this year. I think the National League might be 87, 86. I think as a result, we're going to have some really good teams watching TV in October.
About a month ago, Jeff Passan went on McAfee's show and said that the Pirates have no intention of trading Paul Skeens. Number one, do you believe that's still the case? And number two, who are some teams that you think will be sellers at the deadline?
All right, so let's take that in reverse order. I think if you're a seller, there's a danger because most of your players, if you think about the sellers, haven't been in the postseason for an extended period. Kelly, I have a theory and I've practiced it for my whole career. If you haven't been in the postseason or in a race, I don't know what you're going to be like if I trade for you. I don't know how you're going to handle that situation. So, Billy, I stay away from those guys. So, as a result, the bulk of the teams that out, I don't view them as options. I view them as guys that I personally wouldn't want. There's a reason their teams aren't very good. Who do I think is going to be a dealer? I think the Mets, the Phillies. I think you're going to see the Yankees. I think you'll see Detroit, Houston, the Mariners. I think you'll see the Dodgers. I think you'll see the Cubbies, Milwaukee. I think there's going to be a lot of action. but the supply doesn't meet the demand, Bill. There are very few starting pitchers out there. There are more relievers, but a lot of the relievers are guys you're unsure what they'd be like in a postseason run. I think it's buyer beware because, that guy from the Marlins or the Rockies or the White Sox or the A's, they've never woke up in August with a game that meant anything. You have to be really careful about those trades because those guys not only have the pressure of being a mercenary, but Billy, they suddenly have pressure they've never felt before in a playoff run, and most players can't handle that the first time. It's suffocating for most guys.
All right, last thing, the draft was really interesting. I don't think anybody expected 17-year-old Eli Willits to go number 1 overall in kind of almost a bold selection there. A lot of other shortstops taken. I think Tony, one of our callers, said there were 17 shortstops taken, I want to say, in the first round, which is unbelievable. What's up with that? Why was that the case?
For the fans, half the draft position players are drafted as shortstops and they move to another position. It's just the athleticism. Here in North America, the best athletes play shortstop. In Asia, they pitch. It's just a contrast in how the two continents recognize athleticism. So, Billy, the bulk of the shortstops go somewhere else. Half the shortstops in the big leagues are from Latin America anyway. So there isn't a spot for them to play shortstop. The other thing is this, Willits can really play. Willits' dad had unbelievable instincts. Kelly, I'm sure you played with guys that you just marveled at their instincts. Willits' dad was blessed with incredible instincts and mediocre skills, and he manufactured an elongated career because of it. I love legacy players, and I love this kid. I think he's going to be a terrific player. I thought it was a hell of a draft pick, a really good player who I think is going to be an impact guy. But candidly, you never know about a high school kid until he gets to the big leagues because the game can destroy a guy just from a confidence standpoint. But I think having been around the game his whole life, it's going to give Willits a huge advantage over the rest of the early draft picks.
Okay, we're going to go to the break on this, and then we're going to open the phones for your baseball questions for Danny at 615-553-0933. Again, 615-553-0933. Billy, how do they get into that chat room?
Well, they're already in, but keep them coming in the chat room with YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Danny will continue to answer those, but keep them coming. YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook.
Okay, we'll take your phone calls for Danny to start the 4 o'clock hour on 94.9 The Fan.
Looking for your favorite sports?
How about sports? You follow sports?
We probably have it. Just log on to the Information Superhighway. Oh, they don't call it that anymore?
To start, press any key. Where's the any key?
Head to theGameNashville.com.
Password, we're in.
You'll find what time your game starts and what station it's on.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
That's what's up. Your sports live here.
What an age we live in.
On the Game Nashville Sports Network. This fall, country music superstar Tim McGraw is hitting the stage live at the Pinnacle at Nashville Yards for Dream Ticks, Rock the Cradle, and it's all for a great cause. It's going to be an unforgettable night of music, fun, and giving back with proceeds supporting newborns and moms at Ascension St. Thomas Midtown.
And I like it, I love it, I want some more of it.
Don't miss it. Grab your tickets now at rockthecradlenashville.org. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
I like it, I love it, I want some more of it.
It only happens once a year, and it's happening now. The Electronic Express Annual Clearance Sale. Save up to 80% on overstocks, demos, closeouts, scratch and dents, and one-of-a-kinds, some brand new in the box. Don't miss these savings at Electronic Express on HD TVs, home theater systems, appliances, computers, and more. But hurry, quantities are limited, and deals this big won't last. Shop the clearance sale at any Electronic Express location today.
Experience the spirit of the American West at the Buffalo Bills Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming. 5 museums under one roof, each exhibit a step into another era. Located 50 miles from Yellowstone, begin your adventure at centerofthewest.org.
Ponce Law is the only injury law firm with the Crash Cam Network, capturing accident footage on highways across Middle Tennessee. Injured in an accident? Call Ponce Law. We offer a no-fee guarantee, and for over 30 years, we've been helping injured people just like you. We've been voted best law firm multiple times. I'm Michael Ponce. If you've been injured, call us today at 615-244-4321. Ponce Law, justice for all.
Throughout the country, buried pipelines are indicated by a pipeline right-of-way. A long, wide stretch of grass cleared of trees and marked with signs. If you have a right-of-way near your home, do not plant anything in it or dig in it. Do not install a fence or build your kids a super cool fort without first getting the pipeline operator's approval. For more on pipeline safety, visit pipesafety.org. A message from the Tennessee Gas Association, Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Talking more baseball with Danny Evans coming up. But first stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. You can find them out in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Give them a call, 615-754-9800. All right, here's where we're going today. A little college football. The Athletic released a ranking of all 136 FBS quarterbacks. Which SEC quarterback was at the top of the list? And for fun, can you also name which quarterback was at the bottom of the list?
I mean, I would say the obvious choice would, everybody's talking about Arch Manning, so I don't know. It's kind of a very broad question.
Right. Is that your way of bailing?
No, I'm not bailing. It was an SEC QB, was the top of the list. He hasn't played.
Well, it doesn't say that.
It's a more proven quarterback than Arch Manning, I'll say that.
Okay, so Kelly, let's run through a few of them. Aguilar, Lagway.
I wouldn't think it would be those guys.
Who's Missouri going with?
They don't even know yet.
Yeah. Is it possible the answer is Diego Pavia?
Well, that's what I was saying. Danny's rolling with Bart Starr.
Right. He tried to go with Brian Greasy. Neither of which would appear to be the correct answer. Can you also name the quarterback at the bottom of the list? I would say Drew Pine at Bowling Green.
Well, the SEC quarterback.
Oh,
that's
the
the
SEC
lowest
quarterback. Oh gosh.
Good gracious, man.
I don't know. Just show us what we got. I think Pavia was number one.
All right, top of the list, Garrett Nussmeier.
There you go, right there. Wow. Golly. I could not think of the guys, man. Garrett Nussmeier.
Okay, Calzada is at Auburn now. Is that
Kentucky.
right? Kentucky. Okay.
Yep.
Guys, it was on the tip of my tongue. I was so close on that one.
I should have known Nussmeier. I could not think of the team. I could not think of teams and QBs, man. It was killing me.
We blew that one.
Yeah, we
okay.
did.
Ready for some phone calls?
Yeah, I still think Bart Starr or Todd Helton were good answers. Come on now.
I think if we could turn the clock back 50 years, you'd have been right on it.
Danny, I played against
Congratulations.
Todd. Did I tell you that I played against Todd Hilton in high school? We played him in the semifinals in the TSSAA because that year our team won the state championship. But we played him in Neyland Stadium. He was from I think it was Knox Central in
Oh,
Knoxville, and
good.
we played them and we beat them.
That's awesome. I love that story. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Tony in Nolensville, say hello to Danny Evans.
It's always a pleasure. We say it every week, but it is always a pleasure to talk to you. Y'all have covered just about a lot of things, everything I was going to talk to you about as far as the All-Star game. But I think all of us, us old guys, us purists, did enjoy the team uniforms being worn by the players. I think that's just, I just think that's class when they do that. Some of the gaudy uniforms we've seen over the last few years, it was just ridiculous. But I think we were all glad to see them in those uniforms. Now, Kelly was just talking to you. We found out earlier this week, me and Billy and George, that Hammer and Kelly Holcomb was a AAA MVP in his district, baseball district. So he
shortstop.
I did not know that myself. We knew he was a great athlete, and but yeah, he played a little shortstop the day we found out. Also, Kelly, Danny, I do want to ask you this particular question. On the collegiate level, the scholarship limits now are, you've got a lot of players dropping, not dropping, but the baseball is being limited, I think, to 34 scholarship players now. What type of impact do you think that's going to be on the college level with those teams carrying? How many pitchers are you think you're going to have to these head coaches carry, or you think they're going to carry more position players? Because when you reduce it down to that many, you've got just a handful of players that you can do a lot with. So I wanted to get your take on that. And last, guys, tonight, in case no one knows it, on MLB Network, they're going to do a documentary on Freddie Freeman. And it's I think it's called Driven, but they're going to do a documentary, George, on MLB tonight on Freddie Freeman. I think it'll be a good documentary.
Yeah, I knew about it, and I will be watching.
But good show as always. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Tony. George, did you know the Kelly shortstop thing? I didn't know that. That's a pretty cool element. I'm digging that. Nice going, dude.
Willie Stargell, man. I was a Willie Stargell fan growing up. I was a Pirates guy.
Could you do the whole at bat? Okay. All right. So Tony, regarding your question, I'm excited about the scholarship changes because they're actually the reverse. They're going from 11.7 scholarships per team to 35 in 2025-26, which is going to totally help the game. Instead of carving up 11.7 scholarships among 25 to 30 players, where very few players got a full ride, they got quarter and halves. Now you could have 35 full scholarships, which is it's more than doubling, but it's almost tripling the number of scholarships that you get. And the resulting effect is more kids will have baseball opportunities at the collegiate level. I think it's great for the sport. I'm all in favor. I love the idea.
And now the Cincinnati Reds moment, sponsored either by Marty Brenneman or Eric Patton. Eric, how are you?
Mark Frank here. How you doing, George? It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And Danny, it's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Guys, how about Joe Nuxall? Joe Nuxall could have been your guy on that one, too.
Yeah, that's true. Or Al Michaels at one time, too. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. I've got a couple of questions, but one quick thing I want to say. First of all, I want to say congratulations to Terry Francona. I guess he became the 12th manager to get like his 2000 victory. Just real happy for him that he's had the longevity and the ability to do that. But my two questions, Danny, are this. First of all, I just want to get your thoughts. I don't know how you feel about this because a lot of people have different opinions on this. Of course, the draft was this past weekend. Just wanted to get your thoughts about what you thought about the Reds draft and, were you impressed with that, or are you just not really into that, or is that something kind of subjective? And my other question is this, and of course the Rays, recently was finally sold to a new group, and just want to get your thoughts on that because I've heard a lot of people talk about, of course, that baseball tennis, of course, is so bad in Florida with both the Rays and the Marlins, and there's rumors about one or the other or both maybe down the road moving. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Do you think that they are going to try and desperately keep both those teams there, or do you think that one or both those teams could eventually be totally gone from the state of Florida? Guys, as always, good talk to you guys. Y'all take care, and we'll talk again soon.
Good stuff, Eric.
Eric, first of all, Terry Francona is one of my longest standing friends in the game. Buddy Bell and I hired him 30 years ago for his first managing job after his playing career. And I got to know him so well that first year because I was just trying to nurture him along and help him with the South Bend White Sox, and I could just see greatness. And I worked with him for a long time. He's like family to me. I love the man. I'm thrilled for him. I sent a note the other day that I know he'll giggle when he sees it because it's one of those insider things. When it comes to the draft, I think the Reds do a heck of a good job. I never like to evaluate a draft until you're out 2 or 3 years because you really don't know the player as much as you think you know. I'm really into the draft, Eric. I'm a draft nerd. But for me, until high school and college kids get in a pro environment, they have to mix with older players, play a faster game. You just never know how guys are going to be. I mean, Kelly remembers going from college to the pros. Everybody says the same thing. The game's so much faster, but it's also cerebral, and some guys can't do that. So I withhold evaluation on drafts until we're done for a couple of years. The Rays, no ballpark, really lousy attendance, $1.7 billion. Tells me that the market respects baseball and respects the Rays. Thought it was a great sale. I think it's good for the game to get an influx of new money. These are not cash poor guys. What they're going to do, the three of us don't really know, but you don't sink $1.7 billion into a franchise and not turn around and invest in it. I think it's great for the market. I think it's great for baseball, great for the American League. The Marlins, I'm not so sure. The Marlins are kind of an iffy team right now. They never drew. They build a new ballpark and it's poorly attended thus far. But I think, George, you called it a voodoo doll once. Once they fired my protege, Kim Eng, I have needles in the Marlins voodoo doll and will continue to do it. I kind of don't want them to play well just because of what they did to my girl Kim Eng. So, I hope they figure it out, but so far they have not.
So, Danny, let me ask you this. Because Rob Manfred made it clear that until Tampa and Oakland had their situation settled, that we wouldn't really move forward with expansion. We're a city where there's a lot of talk, but the truth of it is we don't have our stuff together that I'm aware of in any shape, form, or fashion. Do you think the Miami Marlin thing becomes until we get the Marlins situation settled, that we're not moving forward? Because it's every bit as big a problem as the other two, other than the fact that they do have a ballpark. I happen to think it's a mausoleum, but that's just my opinion. Very
George, a good question. I think Rob really did a good job articulating where he was months ago when he said what he said. I saw today that the Las Vegas franchise or the Athletics franchise, is now going to have a construction live cam. So they're real. It's happening. They hired a team president who built the Raiders facility. They're going to get this thing done. It's going to happen. Subsequently, I don't think the Athletics are a problem anymore. I think Tampa Bay, with a $1.7 billion investment, I think that's been taken care of. I really do. I think what we're going to see is an influx into that franchise, which should scare the hell out of some people in the American League East, because without money, they've competed on a high level for 15 years. Now with capital, they could be a really, really difficult franchise to reckon with. I don't think the Marlins are in the same category. The Marlins, I think, are they're struggling, but I think the Marlins have ownership that's solid and ownership that's not having cash problems. So I wouldn't be surprised if expansion starts to percolate again in towns like Nashville, Charlotte, Portland, San Antonio, Salt Lake City. Because, George, I think the storyline is such that the boxes have been checked in the appropriate categories. And as a result, some of those concerns are no longer a problem for us.
Yeah. Frank in Smyrna went to the All-Star game. He's on line 3. Frank, I really want to talk to you about it tomorrow, but I know you got stuff for Danny, so welcome.
Yeah, thank you, George. Yes, absolutely. I'll be happy to talk to you tomorrow about it. But Danny, first of all, thank you for your recommendations. I absolutely loved it. I was like a kid in a candy store at the Fan Festival, the Home Run Derby, O'Neill Cruise. That thing lacked about 20 feet to get out of the entire ballpark there. That was a shot. Same thing with Cal Raleigh. That event in person is just really neat. And as for the game itself, my favorite thing, the Hank Aaron tribute. Oh, goodness. That got to me. That
Frank,
was amazing.
if I could interrupt you, what did that look like in person?
It looked like I was watching a movie in the infield. I mean, my seats were in section 322, just to the right of the press box at the 300 level. That's my season tickets, if you're familiar with Truist Park. George was that up there, so he knows. But it looked like I was watching a movie on the infield. And then when he hit the ball, they shot off fireworks, and it looked like a ball leaving Truist Park.
It was magical.
Behind it. It was absolutely
Baseball
amazing.
did a great job. Well, they celebrated something that happened 50 years ago. And it's remarkable. I remember that night distinctly.
Oh, I
do and like many of you, I was watching that night. And what I loved is they celebrated one of their own, an Atlanta Brave. The fact that Billy was there was incredible. But the great thing is, and if we really think this through, the bulk of the participants weren't even alive when that occurred. You know, the people who managed the game, played in the game, coached in the game, they weren't alive, and they celebrated something that happened in April of 75 or 74. I thought that was remarkable. I loved it. And I just wondered at the time, what did it look like in person? And the fact that you said it was magical, it was a movie, I thought it was easily the highlight. I agree with you about that night. I thought it was amazing.
Just the whole game itself, it was just really fun to be at, just different. I had no idea when the game was tied how they were going to go to swing off. I had no idea. That was fun to watch, the whole thing. And I have a message for you, Danny. Staying at a hotel right behind the ballpark and paying far more than I ever should have paid. My parents, God rest their souls, would try to send a lightning bolt down to me. But anyway,
But didn't that make the whole stay easier for you, Frank?
It did, and it really made the experience so great. And I met a lot of media people and former players. One of them said to tell you hello, Tim
Who's
Kirchin.
that? Oh, I love Tim Kirchin. Great guy. One of the best people in the game.
He came up right to me at the bar, was standing there just waiting to get a beer. and said, "Hi there." And I went, "Oh my goodness." I said, "Tim Kirchin." And I said, "Wow." And I just shook hands with him, and he said, "Sit down, let's chat." So we did.
Oh, I
And
love it.
I told him, and
That's so
I
Kirky.
said, "You know
That-
Danny Evans."
I mean,
He
that's
looked,
who he is. That's just who he is.
he looked at me and said, "How do you know him?"
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't. He probably said, "Why would you want to know him?" Right? That was probably what he said.
He did it. No, he just says, "I hadn't talked to him in a while, but you tell him I said hello and call me anytime." So,
Well, he's
you
getting
know,
a text from me in about 10 minutes. I got news for you.
yeah,
But Frank, if
yeah,
I could say something for all of you, Tim
yes,
Kirchin
sir.
had one of the best jump shots of anybody I have ever played against. He was filthy deadly from anywhere 30 feet in. He could fill it up until he was in his late 40s. And I did not expect that when I first played against him. He and Tommy Verducci were unbelievable hoopsters.
So there.
I
And the thing
did
is,
not know that.
it's not like Tim Kirchin is 6'4".
Oh, no, there's a 5 in front of the
Oh,
4.
Yes, there is.
there
Might be a
certainly
5
was.
on the
He
second
was
number too.
That's true.
he was very short, and he kind of joked about it. I didn't want to say anything, but he joked with me about it, and I'm like, I always thought he was a big, tall guy. No, he was not. Now
He's a
Todd
wonderful,
Frazier,
wonderful man.
so Ken Griffey Jr. looks like he can still play. Just a few of people I met. Harold
So
Reynolds looks like he can still play.
Hold on, you met Todd Frazier?
I did, yes. Right
Kelly,
after I met him, Tim Kirchin introduced me to him.
Kelly, do you know Todd Frazier at the end was a really good third baseman with the Cincinnati Reds? Do you know the nickname that got pinned on him?
No.
The Todd Father.
One of the greatest players in Little League World Series history.
Sweet.
Wow.
Frank, let's talk tomorrow.
Well, let's do it. I got all kinds of stories. But, Danny, thank you for your time and for listening to me and just for the recommendations. It was incredible. Atlanta did a hell of a job. I don't know what I was expecting, but boy, it was amazing. I'll just say that.
Frank, I'm glad you had fun because the All-Star game is unbelievable for a fan. It is a great experience.
Really is. Kelly was right. It's the best All-Star game in professional sports.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, you're right. By
See you, brother.
See you, Frank. Danny, thank you as always. Great stuff.
Thank you. George, are you going through some withdrawals not having baseball for a couple days?
Yeah, we're only 26 hours away from the next edition. Yeah, it's hard because it's kind of the 4 slowest days in sports in our country, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Yeah. The love of my life said a little while ago, she said, "You were hilarious last night. You didn't know what to do with yourself." And I said, "Well, the cadence of the whole summer is you watch games till midnight and all of a sudden there's no game." So Kelly, what I do? I walked the dog the longest walk she's ever had. And I felt good. And she slept like a little puppy. So it was really wonderful.
How do you know that? That's what I always get. Like these people are running their dogs. How do you know that dog wanted to take a walk? How did you know she wanted to take a walk?
Well, she didn't say anything that she didn't. So I just took, she's 14, Kelly. Anytime she can get out with dad, she's good. There's sniffs all over the neighborhood. But dad, seriously, it's 11:30 at night. Go to sleep. Let's go, dude.
Danny,
have a good one, guys.
Take care. See you next Thursday.
See you, brother.
And thanks to the fans.
Bingo. Absolutely. Okay, after the break, Kelly will hear from his former Indianapolis Colt teammate, and before that, a really good wide receiver at the University of Florida. He's now one of the headliners on the ESPN network. He is Chris Doering, and Billy Derrick caught up with him earlier today. You will hear that interview in about 3 minutes. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Attention Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign. It went right down to the wire, and this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets go on sale Friday, July the 18th. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois, it's big time. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Are you ready to begin? Trevecca Nazarene University. From calling to becoming.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
Looking for your favorite sports?
How about sports? You follow sports?
We probably have it. Just log on to the Information Superhighway. Oh, they don't call it that anymore?
To start, press any key. Where's the any key?
Head to thegamenashville.com.
The password. We're in.
You'll find what time your game starts and what station it's on.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
That's what's up. Your sports live here.
What an age we live in.
On the Game Nashville Sports Network.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
One of our listeners let us know, and I was not aware of this, when Danny Evans first became the general manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers back in 2000, on opening day of that first year, the leadoff hitter for the Dodgers, their current manager, Dave Roberts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
nice.
How about that? They go back a long ways together. They are very close. So anyway, Billy, of course, is in Atlanta as SEC football media days wind down. My guess is over at the College Football Hall of Fame, it's a ghost town as people get out of there. But earlier today, Billy caught up with one of Kelly's former pro teammates with the Indianapolis Colts, and that's former Florida wide receiver great Chris Doering, who is now with the NFL Network. What am I saying? The SEC Network. Dope.
You're butchering it. Well, you've only said that. You said the ESPN Network earlier, and now you said it right. SEC Network.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who cares? Here's Chris Doering.
Start with your Florida Gators. Last season, we talked about on the show yesterday how the last couple of games and really last few games, if you include Florida State, was a huge turnaround, biggest turnarounds in one college football in the country. How did you see that from your perspective? And all the hate that Napier was receiving, and now there's momentum heading into this year.
Yeah. If you'd have told the first half of the season, we'd be sitting here not only with the optimism that Florida fans have, but that Billy Napier was the head coach here this week, I would have thought you were lying. I mean, it was a terrible start to the season, getting blown out the way they did by Miami, getting manhandled by Texas A&M as well. My lasting memory in my mind was that 42-0 first half that Texas put on Florida. Seemed like things were done, and then all of a sudden they rallied the troops and got healthy and found a way to string together some wins towards the end of the season. So I think heading into this year, Florida fans are as optimistic as they've been in a long time. And a lot of it has to do with DJ Lagway. You look at last year, I think 6-1 as a starter, 6-0 in games that he started and that he finished. So they've added some nice pieces around him, and I'm excited to see what this group can do this year.
Obviously, his health is fine. Everybody has said. What can we expect from him this season with the Gators?
Yeah, we didn't even get to see him healthy at all last year. He did a lot of what he did, including the wins over LSU and Ole Miss with bum hamstring, so I had to stay in the pocket a little bit more. The progression would have you hope to see him a little bit more accurate on some short to intermediate throws, but I think Florida has one of the best offensive lines in the conference. They're deep, about 5 deep at the running back position. Receiver-wise, you get Trey Wilson back from that injury last year. You've gone out and got J. Michael Sturdivant from UCLA in the portal. Dallas Wilson and Vernell Brown are 2 new additions on the team through the high school signing. So this is a team that has a lot of weapons, and I think DJ Lagway understands he didn't have to win the game for them. Go out there, do the things you're supposed to do, and let some of those other pieces handle a lot of the lifting too.
We've obviously in Nashville talk a lot of Tennessee, one of Florida's rivals. What can we expect from Joey Aguilar this season? And because we don't know a whole lot about him other than what he did at App State.
I'm not even sold after talking to some of the Tennessee people that he's going to be the starter. It sounds like it's a 3-man battle right now. Obviously, Aguilar was the guy that everybody was pointing to after what was essentially a college football trade of quarterbacks as Nico goes out to UCLA. But I think this is a team. I don't even care about Nico leaving. I'm more worried about how you replace the production of Dylan Sampson. I mean, Dylan Sampson was the heart and soul of this team. The defense is going to be good again. I think Tim Banks is one of the guys that doesn't get enough credit with what he does on that side of the ball. I know you lose James Pierce Jr., but Joshua Josephs is a name that we've heard a lot. So I think I haven't heard the update, but Jermod McCoy is a guy that really came on the scene last year that I was excited about. So hopefully he comes back from that injury and is able to get in sooner rather than later. But I think even before the Nico news, I thought Tennessee was a team that may take a step back after that playoff appearance last year.
I want to go to Vandy. Obviously, remember the Alabama upset this season. All the questions around Pavia are that can he do it again, and can he stay healthy? That's probably the biggest thing for them this season. Do you think they could improve this year off of what they did last year?
There's no question about it. I mean, they were part of that Monday contingent here in Atlanta at the media day,
which is rare.
Yeah, I mean they were I thought they won the day, honestly, and not only Diego Pavia, but I think Clark Lee and his confidence and what he showed. In terms of how he feels about that was not a one-hit wonder. This is who we're going to be. And I go back to a couple of years ago, he had this vision in mind and maybe more importantly, had an idea of how to accomplish that vision. Going out, not only getting Diego Pavia, but Tim Beck and Jerry Kill was part of the coaching staff that he brought over from New Mexico State. What they've done to make the ballpark there better. Like, I've always thought that Nashville has a unique opportunity because there's a lot of sports fans that aren't tied to the Vanderbilt program, that if you put an exciting product on the field and you give them a nice place to go watch games, they're going to come out and enjoy it. So I think that this is a different situation where people are actually excited about seeing Vanderbilt players around town, and they're kind of relishing in that right now.
All right, let's go to the top of the SEC. I don't know who to say is at the top. I'm sure you've got a few teams that are, but how do you look at, how would you tier the SEC?
I think one of the storylines this year has been this narrative that there's a decline taking place in Athens and that Texas is the team to beat. Well, Texas hasn't beaten Georgia yet. You can't be the champ until you beat the champ. Lost twice last year. They got to go to Athens this year. So I think that's one of the storylines I'm keeping my eye on. I love Sark. I love what they're doing. A ton of talent there in Austin. But, you'd be naive to think that there's not some sort of growing the pains that you got to go through of Arch Manning taking over as the starter. I got to replace some key pieces on the offensive line and wide receiver. So I think I expect Texas to be in the playoff again. Do I think that they're unquestionably the favorite to win the league and some of the numbers I've seen in terms of best chances to win the national championship? I think they need to slow that roll a little bit too, though.
All right, on our show, Kelly has brought up the fact that he thought the playoffs went too deep into the season, and obviously he's an NFL guy, but are you with him on that it lasted a little long? Maybe we need to reconfigure the timeline of this college football season?
Let me talk about the genesis of my relationship with Kelly.
Okay, do that.
Kelly and I played together in Indianapolis at the beginning of our careers. He and I roomed together when we went on the road. We lived in the same apartment complex. His wife and my wife, we got together all the time, played Jeopardy together. You know, Kelly's one of the most competitive guys around, but Kelly's not the most fun guy. He doesn't like fun. Like, that was fun last year. The playoffs were fun. Having more teams with meaningful games starting about the middle of the season, more fan bases involved. I thought it was absolutely what college football needed. So the fact that he's talking about, while we're expanding it to 12, wants to contract it or rethink what we're doing, fits in line with that narrative about him not being a whole lot of fun.
I love it. I want to ask you one more thing here. The 8 or 9 game schedule. I've heard a lot of the if you go to 9, well, this Alabama-Florida State game will go away. LSU-Clemson will go away, and all these great games that early in season will go away. Do you believe that? And how do you feel on the 8-9?
Well, I think it's inevitable at some point in time we're going to go from 8 conference games to 9. I mean, that 2020 season where we've had 10 conference games only was a lot of fun. And the point right now in terms of the way the schedule is taking place to get more players to play in each of the other SEC opponent stadiums, to get more fans the opportunity to visit, I think that obviously helps you accomplish that goal a lot easier. But also there's a lot of money on the table right now. I mean, could you imagine what that contract would be worth with 9 conference games being played? I think it's inevitable. But I also think it's part of when we get to the 16-team playoff field that we expect is going to come, the 9-game schedule will follow soon after, I would imagine. And most importantly, though, I think we need to mandate more games between the Power 4 teams. Dusty Dvorak had a great idea about SEC should play a Big Ten opponent, a Big 12 opponent, and an ACC opponent. I'd love to see the Big Ten and the SEC hook up with a challenge like we see in basketball between the ACC and the SEC right now. So I think there's some things that we can do from a scheduling standpoint to get a better idea of who teams are throughout the season, not just where you build your resume against non-conference opponents in week 1 or week 2.
Real quick, anything different we can expect from the coverage on SEC Network this season?
You know what, man? I just finished my 10th season, heading into my 11th season there. I'm so blessed to get a chance to do what I do covering this league with the people I get to do it with. So I hope nothing changes. I'm excited about being back with Benjamin Watson and Dari Noka on the desk there, doing the show with PB like I get a chance to do. It's a lot of fun, man, and I'm excited about another year with it.
Appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, man, good to be with you guys. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Fun, your thoughts?
Yeah, I just text that clown about that no fun comment. What a jerk. Well, I'm going to stick to my guns. I mean, he can call me no fun all you want to, but like NFL needs that time. I was over it last year, and I'm still going to stick to those guns. I mean, I know that college football is up on the pedestal right now, but I still think they've got to do something. They're not going to do nothing next year, obviously, but I think it needs to speed it up. Let's go. I mean, start playing games. Let's stop all the, giving guys buys, giving teams buys. Let's don't do that. Let's get to playing football and figure it out.
Okay, let me go with something Chris Doering brought up, which is this concept of signing a deal with another league and kind of doing what they do in basketball in the middle of the season. Now, when they would do it in football, it's more likely at the beginning. But make up whatever conference that you want. Isn't that really the answer, as opposed to jamming the 9-game conference schedule down everybody's throat, when clearly the coaches don't want it? Is, okay, then instead of that, play another big-time conference. I would think ESPN would really like that.
Yeah.
To me, that's the think outside of the box and do it.
That is a pretty good suggestion right there from Chris. And he's probably heard that, but that's pretty good right there, because you don't have to stay in the SEC. You don't have to play guys in the SEC. You can go to the ACC or the Big 12 or the Big 10 and do something like that. And it's it's not as boring. I don't know if playing 9 SEC games is boring, but you get another opponent outside of another conference, and if you win that game, you get to beat your chest saying, hey, that's why we're in the SEC. We've got the conference everybody wants to be in. So that's one way of going about it. So I kind of like the concept, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like that too, but it sounds like it's written in the cards they're going to 9.
They're going to go to 9.
Yeah.
At some point they are.
At some point, and that's why I keep asking everybody we interviewed. I would ask, do you think they will, and try to lead into when? Like when? I mean, how long is Sankey and the SEC going to drag this on, and with this process? I mean, if everybody says they are, but when will they?
I don't know. I think he's caught hell from the coaches, and I think he's caught way more of it than he ever dreamed he was going to get. Now, nobody's willing to say it, but you also see the coaches on the podium give you a lot of BS. Well, it's beyond my pay grade. No, having an opinion is not beyond your pay grade, but they're clearly scared to really say what it is they want to say, which is, let the commissioner coach my team if he thinks it's so damn easy.
I don't think he cares, George.
Well, I don't think he does either. It's all about money.
He doesn't. It's all about money. So it doesn't matter what the coaches think. You're either, he's not going to ask them. He's just going to say, "Hey, next year you're playing 9 games. Tough. Sorry. It's for betterment of the conference."
Then why didn't they announce it at the spring meetings? Why is it still being debated?
I don't think I don't know if it's being debated, but I don't know if they're ready for that just yet. But I mean, I think he's going to do it. He's going to do it, not ask questions.
Kelly, please. If I get off the air tonight at 5:00 and I got assigned the job of creating a 9-game SEC schedule, I could have it done tonight by 8:00. It's not that hard.
No, it's not that hard, but I mean, maybe he's just. I don't know. I can't answer that question.
It doesn't matter. They can wait. It doesn't matter. They've got there's no conference above them putting pressure on them. The SEC puts the pressure on the Big Ten and the other conferences. I mean, the SEC isn't sitting on the Big Ten waiting on what they're going to do.
No, but it does sound like there's some playoff pressure that needs to be alleviated one way or the other by November 30th. So after go ahead.
And I know we got to get to the break, but if the Big Ten wins another national title, what is that? Is that what Sankey and the SEC is worried about? That's because that could speed things up if they win another one.
I think the Big Ten would then come with a new slogan. Maybe it doesn't just mean more.
I wondered when you were going to get that one day. Nice.
Yeah, that was well done. Okay, after the break, we're going to kind of pick Billy's brain. He's been down there for 4 terrific days of coverage. He and Hugh Greenfield have done wonderful work in Atlanta, and we will wrap that up right after this.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler. Attention Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign. It went right down to the wire, and this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets go on sale Friday, July the 18th. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois, it's big time. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
A lot of people want to define teams by singular performances.
Sports. Did he not go back into the game after that interception?
Let's get this turned around. And we're all saying, no, they don't.
Here.
You thought you were on your way.
Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Oh, my Lord. To what do we owe this? For those of you who are wondering what I'm saying, maybe you're listening on radio, we've allowed our intern, Hugh Greenfield, into the picture. That's a little bit of a surprise. Billy, you want to explain that?
I don't know why that's such a surprise. Hugh has been with me in Atlanta. He's taken a lot of notes. He's been tweeting a lot, getting some good quotes. He's been talking to some players as well. So thought I'd give the intern a shot to give a little report.
How's that razor working, Hugh?
I shaved the other day. It grows fast.
Yeah, I'm sure it
Oh,
does.
wow, you're one of those guys, huh?
Yeah, I guess it's in the blood.
So, okay, given that this is the first time you've been, I've been to this thing a bunch of times. It can be a little bit of three-ring circus and a little overwhelming. What surprised you the most?
Yeah, I walked in on Monday. I felt like a kid in a candy shop. I see all these people on TV every day, every weekend, and I saw them in person right in front of my face, and I was able to talk to a few of them. It was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah.
One thing that most surprised me the most was Mizzou football head coach Eli Drinkwitz when he was asked about playing on the road at a couple of places. The person that asked the question conveniently left out playing in Nashville, and he gave props to Vandy. He said, Diego Pavia and Clark Lee have a great team down there in Nashville, and I want to give them the respect they deserve. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I also enjoyed being able to listen in on the sit-down conversation with Clark Lee as well.
What's the most surprising thing that you all feel like you learned down there this week?
Well, I mean, I feel like it was a pretty, I say boring. It was kind of a dull week overall. You had Pavia the first day with saying our goal is to win a national championship, and Clark talking about playing into January. You didn't get much from Heupel. You obviously got a lot from Eli Drinkwitz today. But to me, just learning, this week is a week for a lot of the media members to, mingle and just talk about the game. To me, I realized that in the SEC, the quarterbacks are not what we are used to them being. I know Garrett Nussmeier returns for LSU, but you've got a lot of unproven names on big name programs, whether it's Texas with Arch Manning, Tennessee, Joey Aguilar, Georgia with Gunnar Stockton. I mean, it's all over the league. So which can be the separator? Which quarterback can separate himself? Like when Texas plays Georgia, it's Gunnar Stockton against Arch Manning. We haven't seen a bunch of either of those two. And you can go up and down the line. To me, that's what I learned in talking to a lot of people and a lot of the coaches. They talk about their quarterback situation. They mention multiple guys instead of just one. There's not a lot of programs where they're set on one player, believe it or not, if you look down the conference. So to me, that was a big theme this week. Just there's a lot of unproven names at quarterback. Not that it's an awful year at quarterback, but there's a lot of unproven guys at some elite programs.
Q?
Yeah, that was definitely surprising to me how it was this close to the season and coaches still didn't give their starting quarterback up for day one, which I feel like at this point in time is pretty essential to who you want to lead your team, who you want to lead your offense, who you want to take the reins of the team and lead your team to a great season. So that was definitely a huge part of something that I thought was very surprising as well. And I also thought that Arkansas's coach, when he was asked about playing Arkansas State at a neutral site, he said he wanted that game in Fayetteville. And I thought that was pretty surprising because that takes away one of your home games for the season. And you would think that that's a game that you could definitely win at a neutral site, and you would want a more difficult game and a tougher matchup at home in Fayetteville. So that was definitely one of the more surprising things that I heard.
Are they playing in Little Rock?
Yeah, that game is set to be played in Little Rock.
It used to be, and I know more of this because my uncle lives within a couple of miles of that stadium. So I've number one, I've been to a game there. Arkansas used to play one game a year at War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock, and they have bagged that tradition. And this may be sort of the, what's the word I'm looking for? A little breadcrumb to be thrown out. It's interesting you brought that up. Kelly, of these uncertain quarterback situations, which is the one you're the most worried about that you think ultimately is going to lead to trouble?
I don't know if I'm worried about any of them, George. I just what surprised me was when Chris got on there, because I've been saying about Joey Aguilar, like, they paid him all that money, and money talks nowadays. But if he's hearing that, I don't know what Billy thought about it, but like, if he's hearing that he's not sure that he's going to be the starter, I don't see that. I don't see that. Now, there are, like you said, unproven guys, but that happens every year in college football. You get a guy for hopefully 4 years. Now you're not getting them for 4 years. Now you're getting them for a year, and you're getting paid mercenaries to come in and seat that position for a year. But I'm not sure. And it's funny that, and that's how coaches are. Coaches are not going to really talk about the ins and outs of what's going on. They're not going to give anybody any information. But that was kind of surprising to me about the Aguilar kid, because I would think with his money and with them bringing him in there, he's going to be the starter. But maybe, if Chris is hearing that, maybe something that we're not hearing, and maybe that's true. So there's obviously some indecisiveness going on in Knoxville, and maybe they don't want to talk about it, but that's going to be interesting how that plays out, because Chris even talked about it. He said even with Nico being there, I think they were going to drop back a little bit this year, and I think he's kind of right. But if you don't have a proven quarterback, which Aguilar's got a lot of experience, but if he's not head and shoulders above the rest, then they obviously like somebody behind him, and that's going to be interesting.
Well, the other thing that may not be out there right now is that they have seen something as Aguilar gets there that concerns them.
Right? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think Chris said that for no reason. I have heard from, and this was from a Vandy guy, that he's heard some rumors from some people in Knoxville that there's some locker room issues already. And again, take that for what it's worth. Take that with a grain of salt. We talked about it. Every team has some sort of locker room issues, but and Tony's talked about it, it's going to be interesting to see how does the rest of the team, do they rally around Joey Aguilar? If it's a scenario where he starts the Syracuse game, doesn't play well, and then Jake Merklinger steps in and that Syracuse game isn't what Tennessee fans wanted, it could be a very different season than what a lot of us expect. But that Aguilar situation, that's going to be interesting to track.
Okay, stop there. We'll go to our final break and then wrap this baby up. I'd love to tell you there's a plaster bet of the day, but you know what? There aren't any games. It'll have to wait until tomorrow. This is 94.9 The Fan.
Looking for your favorite sports?
How about sports? You follow sports?
We probably have it. Just log on to the information superhighway. Oh, they don't call it that anymore?
To start, press any key. Where's the any key?
Head to thegamenashville.com.
The password. We're in.
You'll find what time your game starts and what station it's on.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
That's what's up. Your sports live here.
What an age we live in.
On the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Willie Donick here for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. If you're in the market for new windows or doors, here's a few reasons to choose Pella of Nashville. The new brand awareness report is in, and Pella Windows and Doors is number one for improving the value of the home, number one for the most trusted, and number one for most recommended by others. Those are pretty high marks. I highly recommend choosing the experts at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. It's simple. Visit PellaNashville.com for more information.
Make your Yellowstone area vacation unforgettable at the Buffalo Bills Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming. 5 family-friendly museums packed with wildlife, art, culture, and authentic Western experiences. Plan your adventure now at centerofthewest.org.
Best Friends Animal Society is working to ensure that every dog and cat in the country has a safe place to call home. Home. Just like Superman, you can use your power for good. Join us. Visit bestfriends.org to adopt an out-of-this-world pet near you. Together, we will save them all.
This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
When you have that kind of success as a young quarterback early, everybody's going to expect more. Everybody expected more out of Jordan Love and didn't get it, even though the Packers made the playoffs. Now, I can't even imagine the expectations are going to be on Jaden Daniels, and they got the NFC Championship game. He carried this football team and got there. Now you're getting everybody else's best shot the way Jordan Love had to deal with that.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, Billy, before we go to Hugh, where are we doing the show tomorrow?
No, I texted you before the last segment to go to Hugh, and we went to Hugh. So.
Oh, okay. Well, then we don't need to go to Hugh again. Where are we doing the show tomorrow?
We're doing the show in Nashville.
I don't believe that was the answer to the question.
I like the answer. Be very broad, vague, Billy. Yeah. Nice.
You're not on a witness stand. Answer the question.
We are doing the show. I'm not really sure how to answer this.
Okay.
It's either at George's Place or the Fordyce Center. Which one?
Duh.
No, the Fordyce Center. Why are we asking this on the air?
Why not? It's the only way I can communicate at the moment. Okay, so that's the answer. We'll be at the Fordyce Center tomorrow. Billy, would you like to review my All-Star victory, which was booked?
We already did that.
We'll do it again.
The National League won. Congrats, George.
Yes. Okay. Great job by you guys under some trying circumstances that only I know about, but will not be released to the general public. How about that?
As it shouldn't be.
Yes.
Gusto, Billy. Go to Gusto.
That's where we're headed.
Nice.
You need to head home immediately.
No, he doesn't.
Pay no
He's
attention.
in Atlanta.
Pay
He's
no
a young
attention.
he's a young adult. He's in Atlanta. Let him do what he wants to.
Thanks,
Go
Kelly.
see the Braves. Billy, thank you guys. Good job down there.
Yep. Appreciate it.
We'll do it again tomorrow without Kelly. Yeah.
I know you're happy about that. Clowns.
Oh, yeah. No, same to you, pal. We'll be back tomorrow. Gary Stoken, the man who puts together what goes on with a lot of sporting events in Atlanta, will join us, and we'll also check in on the Texas Longhorns, who people think are going to be really, really good. See you then.